are on the mainland, how do you get around both the Chinese criminal code and the administrative code that says you can't promote gambling, you can't even make a bet if you're on the mainland? And if they're sitting there, I mean, I assume you're taking the position they're not making the bets in China, but there's got to be some problem with the casinos actively facilitating that, or again, maybe nobody cares if you're dealing with that kind of money.
I don't know. I think the Macau DICJ people, they just monitor the people not cheating. They're sitting at the table, and no video is going up. So, whether they're talking on the phone, maybe the guy is in the hotel, maybe they're elsewhere. I don't know. So,
well, the reason I'm asking is because you had said repeatedly it's all legal. It's all legal under Macau law, but it's pretty clear. Well, at least there would be a question.
Well, gambling is illegal in China, and promotion of gambling is illegal in China.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but some of the customers are in China, correct?
Or elsewhere, yes.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. I think it would have been quite an interesting debate, and I see we have a lawyer in the front.
I'm a professor,
and I don't want to put you on the spot, Lewis, at all. But as you know, I definitely am not from a legal background. But I'm sure there would be quite an interesting debate as to where the bet was actually placed. That would be the first thought that would come into my mind. And that is an age-old query with online gaming. It's always, where is the bet actually placed? And you're very familiar with that, of course, with the industry. It's always the questions asked, isn't it? Where is the, and even more so, where is the purchase? Where is the purchase from?
Let me just add one thing. In China, the definition of gambling normally is if you're caught playing cards, if you have an IP address that's tapped by the police, and they have that as proof, if you're making a payment to settle a gambling payment, that is illegal. If you're talking on the phone about a game, maybe a football game or some other game, and there's no payment, I would have to ask the lawyer if that's considered legal or illegal. Well, but if you're caught with chips and cards and tables and IP address and all that, that is definitely illegal, and they have prosecuted a lot of people for that.
Well, they do close down the internet cafes in China where the bets are taking place.
Exactly.
In other
countries. Internet cafes, if you're caught in your office, at home, in an internet cafe, that you're linked to, I don't know, just any famous casino website abroad, the police have the right to go after you. And they have done it. So.
I know from a technical point of view that what they were doing in Fontana was that they were using a lot of mirrored sites to cloud or to confuse. But of course, we're talking, a really truly non-regulated place.
I think actually they were told to stop. So I think I don't know if they...
Some pressure was brought to bear from somewhere.
They're still running, but at least back in 2008, 2009, I was aware that they were told to stop their internet services. And that's why the other company came in when there was a strong need for this product, and the only company that offered that product had to shut down. And the other company emerged and became now the dominant player.
Interesting points. It takes me back to the internet in the early days, but Matthias, you must remember well in the wild Old West, in non-regulated environments, how, and I suppose that's a little bit where we are now with Proxy. It is a new emerging, method. I think personally, because I like the internet and I like the internet gaming, I think it's a tremendously good move, and to me, it doesn't work for me because, I don't know how anybody can use another person to bet and get the same level of excitement. I can tell you that I was in a club one night with a group of junket players, and in between one of the music songs, somebody's got up and said, "We're going to do proxy betting." And one of the boys got his phone out, and off they went. And seriously, the level of excitement that went on in that room was just confounding to me, but they were really genuinely excited, even when they lost. They were just genuinely excited that they were enjoying this thing called proxy betting. And they didn't even have a screen, it was just over the telephone. So again, for me, that was, it was an eye-opener, and I could see that there is a potential. I think that the thing is, I think there's a potential good business model and a good potential growth area for this particular product. Do we have any more questions? Lewis.
This morning we had an interesting discussion about iGaming in Asia and the status of the regulations and where is it going. And my question to the panel is, the junkets as we know them today, do you see any role for them if iGaming becomes a reality in Asia? Or they will be somehow taken out of that equation because then you can do it all by yourself. You don't need the assistance of a junket.
Well, I can do one answer to that. I think there'll always be a need for the agent, whether there's, through iGaming or not through iGaming, because of the personal relationships that the agents have, number one. And Tony, probably you can talk on the financial aspect, in terms of collection. And the number one problem with iGaming, the number one problem is funding accounts and being able to pay players outside of normal e-commerce solutions.